Good evening. Welcome to the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert, here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. We're going to be talking a little bit about some recent events in the news. This past Wednesday, President Trump announced that he would be expanding the Justice Department Operation Legend program to Chicago and to Albuquerque, days after threatening federal intervention to confront violence in America's cities. The president is expected to make the president to discuss the Law and Order event during the Law and Order event at the White House about Operation Legend. Fox News has learned that the president is expected to expand the Chicago and Albuquerque violence in those cities, to expand to cover the issues that are happening in those cities. We need our governors and our mayors to do their jobs in those Democratic cities. Nobody's pushing or blaming them for anything other than the fact that apparently it seems to be in mostly Democrat mayors and mostly Democratic governors. So what should we think? Attorney General Bill Barr announced the launch of Operation Legend earlier this month in an effort to combat violent crime in Kansas City. The program was named after Legend Teleferio, a 4-year-old boy who was fatally shot last month while sleeping in his Kansas City apartment. How sad. The program began after Missouri Republican Governor Mike Parson asked the federal law enforcement to assist local police. Barr directed agents from the FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, and the Drug Enforcement Administration, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives to help local law enforcers there. The Department of Justice said the operation is meant to curb the spike in violent crime in the cities, where there have been more than 100 homicides. And of course, we all heard about the shooting at the funeral a few nights ago. This cannot be tolerated. This lawlessness needs to stop, and the Mayor Lightfoot, and the governors, they need to step it up and take care of their areas, especially there in Chicago. And I appreciate President Trump, regardless of whether they appreciate him or not. He is doing what he can for this country and its people. The Department of Justice said an operation is meant to curb a spike of violent crime in the city where there have been more than 100 homicides this year. Federal law enforcement officers currently working out of Chicago, including FBI officials, U.S. Marshal, DEA, ATF, will be loaned to the Justice Department to help fight crime as part of the program. The Chicago expansion is expected to involve about 100 federal law enforcement officers, with the same plan for Albuquerque. The move is likely to be met with pushback from Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who has accused the president in recent days of trying to terrorize her city. Give me a break. You don't see what's going on in your city, Mayor Lightfoot? We're not terrorizing. We're trying to get the terror under control. You have residents that are scared to come out of their house. So they sent 100 federal law enforcement officers with the same plan for Albuquerque. The move is likely to be, as we said, met with pushback. Under no circumstances, President Trump says, I will allow troops to come to Chicago and terrorize our residents. This was Lightfoot said, I'm sorry. She said she would allow Donald Trump to send you. What can you say? You don't allow your little mayor in a city that's out of control. You really believe you're going to stop the federal government? I don't think so. You can't even stop the crime in your own city. So what are you going to do to stop the federal government from coming in and tapering off the crime there? I don't think you can do anything, nor should I think you should do anything. The same evening, a vehicle with multiple occupants drove past a funeral, as we said earlier, in South Side Chicago. Victims were fired upon leaving a funeral, 15 people injured. This is ridiculous. You go to a funeral to honor somebody who's gone on, and you get shot up at the funeral, and they didn't care who they shot, and I'm sure they shot some children as well. Some of the mourners exchanged gunfire with the people inside the vehicle before it crashed down the block. The victims were taken to 5 hospitals where they were listed in conditions ranging from serious to critical. At least one person has been arrested, but police haven't given a motive or said the shooter and the victims knew each other, the Chicago Tribune reported. Mayors of Portland, Chicago, Atlanta, other big cities demand federal forces withdraw. Give me a break. Regardless of whether you have your little area, whatever, mayors and governors, we still have to protect this country. And our president is the chief law enforcement officer for this country. You may not like it, but it's the truth. The president said that the left-wing group of people that are running cities are not doing the job they're supposed to be doing. And like I said earlier, I called for Wheeler to step down, I called for Governor Brown to step down, and I'm calling for Lightfoot and her behind to step down too. She's not doing anything, and I doubt if the governor of that state's doing anything either. It's not a very tough job to do. If they knew what they were doing, so we'll be talking about that next week, President Trump said. We'll probably have an announcement as to what we're planning to do to help them, he added. They're supposed to be asking for help, and they don't want to ask. So maybe they're proud, or maybe they think it's bad politically. But we can't have this happen, what is happening right now. We're going to straighten things out. And that was the words of President Donald J. Trump. We're going to take a short break right now. We will be right back at you in a moment here on Black Conservative Voice on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Welcome back. Another story in the news, and I still can't believe this story. Former Vice President Biden calls Trump first racist president. Give me a break. He called President Trump the first racist president. The Roy Murdoch, the Fox, on significance of Joe Biden's "You ain't black" comment in National Review Online. DeRoy Murdoch joins Tucker Carlson on Tucker Carlson's show last night. Former Vice President Joe Biden spent much of his Friday wielding a crowbar and prying his feet out of his mouth. He then apologized for the hideous racial comment that he uttered in the morning, as well as he should have. The presumptive Democratic presidential nominee told radio host Charlemagne that on the Breakfast Club, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. He can't even use correct English. If you have a problem choosing between him and Donald Trump, you ain't black. And who gives him the right, or even what is that? That makes no sense. And Mr. Biden, you're just an embarrassment to this country. You've always been a racist. It's proven your history. This remark was truly racist. Biden unveiled a new power unseen anywhere in the Constitution: the ability to decide who is and is not black, and on the basis of political beliefs. No less, in essence, you ain't black unless I say you black. We ain't black unless I say you black. Joe Biden expresses regret over "you ain't black" comments. I shouldn't have been so cavalier. Yeah, you shouldn't have been so cavalier, because out of the heart, the mouth speaks. Biden revealed this view, widely popular among Democrats, that black Americans must support him and the Democratic agenda. If not, they're not just wrong, mistaken, and lacking in information. No, much worse. They're not even black. And I've been accused of this even myself, because I am a Republican. I support President Donald J. Trump. You're not black. Well, excuse me, I think I wake up every morning, I look in the mirror, and that is a black man looking back at me. So I think I am black. It's not about the skin color. It's about the character of a man's heart or their mind, according to Dr. Martin Luther King. How insulting, degrading, and dehumanizing. More for opinion. Shay Hawkins Biden, a 76, says, Shay Hawkins says, Biden, a 77-year-old white liberal, doesn't have the right to tell me I ain't black. Tim Graham, anti-Trump media played dumb on Obamagate. See here, speak no evil about ex-president. RNC Chairman McDaniel, Democrats and voter fraud in Nevada. Here's how it will impact you. Biden never would tell Caucasian voters, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't white. Instead, he would urge them to read this policy papers, listen to his speech, or watch his shaky missives from his Delaware bunker. Of course, this was not the first time that Biden showed how little he thought of black people and our ability to make our own decisions. Back in August of 2012, Biden told black voters in Virginia that if Republican Mitt Romney were elected president, they're going to put y'all back in chains. Can you believe this? They're going to put y'all back in chains. What kind of talk is this coming from somebody that's supposed to be supporting the American people? No, Biden's pandering use of ain't and y'all when addressing blacks, including a southern accent in the latter instance, he either learned this from or taught this to Hillary Clinton, who exhibits the same annoying, patronizing behavior, along with such bizarre lunges for black votes as telling again on The Breakfast Club in 2016 that she carries a bottle of hot sauce in her purse. Boy, and if that ain't racist. You know, my mom loved hot sauce, yes, and a lot of black folks love the hot sauce. And so she used that as a dig toward black people. The man who beat Hillary Clinton for the 2008 Democratic presidential nomination, Obama, chose Biden as his running mate, despite Uncle Joe's January 2007 description of the then U.S. Senator from Illinois. And he goes on to say, and I quote, I mean, you got the first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and nice looking guy. I mean that a storybook man. He's the only black, clean African American guy. I think I look pretty clean. Anyway, Biden's dismissiveness toward blacks took much more hostile in the 1990s when he pushed anti-crime legislation that resulted in the mass incarceration of blacks, mainly males, a group that Hillary called the super predators. She called blacks the super predators. Well, we're going to take a short break here on the Black Conservative Voice, and we'll be right back at you in a moment. This is David Colbert, the Black Conservative Voice on the CTM News Network. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. And it goes on to say, thankfully, President Trump's criminal justice reform is reversing many of the injustices created by Biden and President Obama's support of this 1994 bill and attitudes like Hillary's. Trump's support for historically black colleges and universities, pro-school choice policies, and his tax cuts and deregulations have brought black unemployment to record lows and pre-COVID-19 boom, Biden should know among the many reasons that Americans can be both black and pro-Trump. He helped us. He helped the black folks. And you out there who are black and thinking you're doing something by hating President Trump, you're being foolish. Biden has clearly stated and said quite a few ugly things about African American over the years, and he still got stuff slipping out. Let me see. Let me go ahead and keep going on. Biden in 1970 remarks are just plainly ugly. Here is how he expressed his worries about school busing. Unless we do something about this, my children are going to grow up in a jungle. The jungle being a racial jungle with tensions having built so high that it is going to explode at some point. And this is his direct quote, people. This is the direct quote from Vice President Biden. This is his direct quote. I'm not making stuff up. He said this back in 1977. To me, if you're a racist, you're a racist. It takes a lot to change somebody that has that embedded in their system. I thought to myself, I had been black for 54 years. This is Senator Tim Scott, Republican of South Carolina, said Friday. 1.3 million black Americans already voted for Trump in 2016. This morning, Joe Biden told every single one of us, we ain't black. I say I'm surprised, but it's sadly par for the course for Democrats to take the black community for granted and browbeat those that don't agree with them. Michigan Republican candidate for U.S. Senate John James second Scott's emotion. Quote, you challenging me and millions of other people out of there on this blackness, descendants of slaves, from you and some seriously condescending, out of touch bullcrap, James said in a campaign video. James hopes to join Scott as a second black Republican in the U.S. Senate. Vice President Joe Biden's latest quote is both pathetic and hurtful, James added. Challenging millions on their blackness is condescending. The GOP was started to oppose slavery. I have the right to think and vote for myself, along with all other Americans, including black Americans. Facing this backlash, Joe Biden phoned the U.S. Black Chambers Friday afternoon and said, I shouldn't have been such a wise guy. Yeah, and y'all, why don't you join in with me? Just give me a call, hop on a train, join in with our campaign for president. I have never seen such sad commercials in my life. I've been in this country all my life. And these political statements that Biden has made, they're such a joke, it's a shame. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a short break here on Black Conservative Voice, and we'll be right back at you in a moment. This is David Colbert on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Welcome back to the CTM News Network, the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. Once again, I want to give you the opportunity to support and to sponsor this program. Our rates are really, really low right now. But once our viewership starts to get up over 1 million and above, then the rates will go up. So take this opportunity. If you're in politics, you want to advertise, you have a business you want to advertise, our largest market is in the Texas area. So if you're in Texas and you want to reach the people in Texas from different states, different cities in Texas, please advertise on this program. We have been reached. I've said our audience is between 10 and 50,000 for every program that we start. So I want to thank you for joining us here tonight, and thank all our viewers. Tell other people about this program. We tell it like it is here on the Black Conservative Voice. Okay, moving on. What has Trump done for minorities? We're going to go over that a bit, but the list is so long it's hard to catch everything. But this is from Gianno Caldwell. Trump, not Biden, has made black lives better. Trump needs to remind African Americans about what he has accomplished and contrast with Biden's record of failure. This is Gianno Caldwell of the New York Post. Trump, I think I've done more for the black community than any other president. I celebrated last New Year's Eve in Ghana, Africa. I've grown up poor and with mom addicted to drugs, but started his decade far from the south side of Chicago and amongst some of the most elite black people in the world. With me was one of my best friends, Nate, an executive for one of the largest technology companies in the world and former Obama administration attorney. His brother-in-law, a neurosurgeon who graduated from Harvard, a billionaire whose house party we all attended to ring in 2020, and many Hollywood celebrities, including Boris Kodjoe and Nicole Ari Parker. This was to be the start of the best year of our lives. Former Representative Allen West, July 4th, has special meaning for me as a black man who's overcame discrimination. Back home in U.S., African Americans were experiencing the best economy we have ever seen. Unemployment for our racial group was lowest in record history. Black wages were rapidly increasing for the first time in decades, and people who's been out of work long term were being hired and suddenly are able to take their families on vacation for the first time in years. President Trump's policies made this possible. President Trump's policies made this possible, not Obama or Joe Biden. Since COVID-19, almost every economic benefit of the Trump presidency have evaporated. Unemployment has surged again, reaching numbers closer to the end of the Great Depression, and has impacted, as it has every U.S. downturn, African Americans most. All this coupled with the issues of race that still plague our country in the media, incessant narratives of Trump being a racist. In some cases, these wounds have been self-inflicted, as with Trump's recent retweeting of white supremacist video. I don't believe that, and I don't think he did that. I really don't. The black vote will be a swing vote this year, and that's some other stuff I don't believe, because I believe that if the black people have anything that they want to have happen, they need to not take President Trump for granted. President Trump did it once, and he's proven before. What did he say before? He says, I'm coming back. He is a fighter. President Trump, he's went bankrupt before. Yes, he's went bankrupt, but guess what? He's back again. He's a billionaire again. What I'm trying to tell you is, he knows the marketplace. He knows the economy. Yeah, things were down, but jobs are already back up. Millions of jobs are back up. And I don't know about you, I've seen a lot of black folk working. So there are going to be more black people back to work again. He's going to make it all work out. Of course, you got people on the other side, the Democratic Party, is trying to keep our schools closed, trying to keep businesses closed, trying to make believe that every community is exactly the same. Very few communities have an upturn, even in its COVID-19 cases. There's some people like Oklahoma, they say they have hardly any COVID-19 cases. And they've had no uptick in COVID-19. And there's other cities, of course, the liberal media or the fake news media is not going to bring this up, because they want to keep you afraid. They want to keep you wearing masks, which really is bad for your health. I've had to wear masks just for a short period of time, and it causes me pains in my chest and headaches. So I cannot do that. I very seldom go anywhere where I have to wear a mask. So I stay away from stores most of the time. I let my wife go. She'll go to the store, because I cannot wear those things. And I was doing well until I had to start wearing those masks. So I really want to see that end, because I really don't believe it does anything. I heard Nancy Pelosi say today in her press conference about look at the science. Look at the science. Nancy, you're still not looking at the science about the mask. It's already been proven that they do no good in fighting any virus. It's already been proven. Yet it's also been proven that it hurts people's health to wear it. And some people, it's even almost killed them for wearing a mask. You cannot wear those masks for a prolonged period of time. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me here at Black Conservative Voice. I know they didn't go over a lot today, but I do want you to understand that our president is not a racist. He is far from it. He is far from a racist. And I believe that as we continue to move forward in the years to come, and we re-elect our president, President Donald Trump, everything will work out. You know, they talk about the teachers and about classrooms and everything else and going back to school. Well, I have a suggestion to make. If we're going to go to school and we have the kids to come in, you could have, just like you have these things at McDonald's or different places, you could put a shield up and divide and block the teachers from coming in contact with the children. Although the WHO has already said that asymptomatic people cannot spread the virus. Just because we stop supporting them financially because they were misusing us doesn't mean that they don't know what they're talking about in some cases. So they're saying that they're asymptomatic, that they don't have the disease. There's no reason to think that they're carrying the disease. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me once again here with the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. Once again, I'll see you next time here on the Black Conservative Voice here on the CTM News Network, the Voice of Truth. And until then, God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world. Until next time, this is David Colbert saying so long.